Today, we're looking at the EXO-6 Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Standard Edition from Star Trek The Next Generation, a museum-quality 1/6 scale figure of one of the most legendary Starfleet captains in the entire Star Trek franchise. Now, before we get into it, a quick thank you to our good friend Kieran Highman for bringing his Picard over for us to take a look at today. Aside from being a fellow Star Trek fan, Kieran also works as a colorist on the Doctor Who in Color releases and is the co-host of the Likely Examiners podcast, which we highly recommend you check out. The figure arrives inside of EXO-6's very collector-friendly packaging, featuring the current Star Trek style guide. The outer cardboard slipcase lifts away to reveal a window display showcasing the figure and all its accessories securely housed inside. Around the back, you've got the creative credits, which is a really nice touch and feels like a throwback to the old Art Asylum releases, as well as a QR code which, unfortunately, currently leads to a 404 page, but is intended to link to the instructional video. Inside, the hard plastic tray is layered, with the additional Darmok accessories tucked neatly underneath. Everything feels very premium, very secure, and very much in line with the price point. EXO-6 operate a pre-order limited run business model, which means that Picard unfortunately is no longer directly available from their website. However, due to his popularity, a second run is currently underway. That said, you can still find this Picard through other retailers, such as Pop Culture, where he is listed for $459.99 Australian dollars. Now, this isn't EXO-6's first attempt at Captain Picard. They've previously released versions based on Star Trek First Contact and Star Trek Picard, but in all honesty, those earlier attempts do not even come close to what they have achieved here. The likeness to Patrick Stewart in this next generation version is absolutely incredible. Even on camera at this scale, it genuinely looks like the real thing. There's something about the sculpt here that just clicks in a way the previous releases didn't. And while Patrick Stewart doesn't drastically age between the series and the films, the difference in the accuracy between that early release and this one is night and day. This is, quite simply, the definitive Picard figure. In fact, it's the figure that made me seriously reconsider my collecting goals. I may now have to track down all of the iconic captains in this range. Picard stands around 30 centimeters tall and features approximately 30 points of articulation, allowing for a wide range of natural and character-accurate poses. And that flexibility is only enhanced by the sheer number of accessories included in the standard edition. You get a Type 2 hand phaser, which can be stored in a black holster that magnetically attaches to the trousers. There's the TR-580 Tricorder Mark 7, which opens up, separates into two pieces via magnets, and can also be worn in the holster, again magnetically attached, which is a great touch considering the original props were simply velcroed in place. You also get a pad, the standard personal access display device used aboard the Enterprise. Of course, there's the iconic teacup, styled after the Bodum Bistro Cup, for Picard's signature tea Earl Grey hot order. Then we have the Ressikan Horgan fertility idol from the episode Captain's Holiday, the Ressikan Flute and its presentation box, as seen in the inner light, complete with its deep emotional significance to the Picard character. And yes, the box opens and the flute can be stored inside. And finally, the Captain Picard Day banner, created by the school children aboard the Enterprise D in the episode The Pegasus, which also makes a reappearance in Star Trek Picard. On top of that, you get 9 interchangeable hands, each sculpted to best hold specific accessories, allowing for a great deal of display variety. All of this really helps to bring the figure to life on the shelf. Now, we have to talk about the uniform. Picard comes dressed in his duty uniform seen from Season 3 onwards of The Next Generation. EXO-6 have gone to incredible lengths to replicate this as accurately as possible, from the cut of the tunic, to the rear zip, and to the cuff fastenings at the back. Even the trousers have been carefully considered. Rather than relying on elastic or visible belts, they're supported by fabric braces that sit underneath the tunic, just like the original costume, ensuring a clean silhouette. It's a level of attention to detail that is genuinely impressive. The color choice is also worth noting. EXO-6 opted for the plum or wine tone burgundy as seen on set, rather than the brighter red that we see after color grading on screen. Picard also comes with 4 gold pips on his collar and the communicator badge, both fixed in place. Now, EXO-6 have actually released 3 variants of this next generation Picard. There's the Essential Edition, which includes fewer accessories and just the duty uniform. There's the Darmok variant, which features his captain's jacket, and then there's this version, which includes everything. The Darmok jacket itself has a bit of a history behind it. Designed by Robert Blackman at the request of Patrick Stewart, it was intended to help Picard stand out visually from the crew, and quite frankly, give Stewart something more comfortable to wear. Producer David Livingston once described it as being inspired by the type of jackets worn by submarine or aircraft commanders. The version recreated here features the later micro-suede shoulders, rather than the original leather look version, along with the burgundy body and black detailing. You also get the grey undershirt, with its rib-textured shoulders and high turtleneck collar, complete with permanently attached captain's pips. So you've got multiple display options depending on your preference. Now, let's talk about changing that outfit. EXO-6 do provide an instructional video, which is very helpful, but even so, it's not a quick process. You'll want to remove the head, hands, and boots first to make things easier. And while the articulation certainly helps, dressing this figure is an experience. In fact, I'm not entirely convinced it's easier than dressing a baby. Because the body is likely based on a generic male form for cost efficiency, Picard comes with a padded bodysuit worn underneath his standard uniform to help fill out the silhouette and better match how the costume appears on screen. There's a small stitch holding this padded undershirt in place, which isn't mentioned in the instructions, and you'll need to carefully cut it with a pair of small scissors to remove it. We later discovered why it has been secured like this when fitting the black unitard for the captain's jacket variant. As this outfit includes additional layers, the extra bulk from the padding isn't required. Unfortunately, the unitard doesn't fasten quite as cleanly as you might expect, as the material doesn't have enough stretch to comfortably reach across the undercarriage. It's a minor frustration, but worth noting. That said, once you've got him into the jacket, it looks fantastic. Posed with the right accessories, and it's an incredibly iconic look. And again, I still cannot get over this likeness, it is genuinely stunning. One thing I will say, given the level of detail here and the price point, swapping hands and accessories can feel a little nerve-wracking. But you don't need to be too gentle. These parts are designed to be firmly attached, and you will need to apply a bit of pressure to swap things out, especially the hands. To round things out, Picard also comes with a display stand, featuring interchangeable base inserts. One resembles a transporter pad and the other is less immediately recognizable. He stands well on his own, but to avoid any unfortunate domino effects or an accidental bungee jump off your display shelf, the stand is definitely recommended. There's also a character card included, designed to be signed if you ever get the chance to meet Sir Patrick Stewart in person. In summary, this is, without question, the definitive Captain Picard figure currently on the market. An exceptional likeness, 2 beautifully realized costumes, and a wealth of accessories that give you endless display options. Unfortunately for us, Kieran has decided that his Picard will be staying in his duty uniform, so a quick costume change was required before he was safely transported back home. And once again, a huge thank you to Kieran for letting us take a look at this incredible piece. It has definitely sparked our interest in exploring more of the EXO-6 range, which continues to grow with new releases, captain's chairs, and other display pieces that would pair perfectly with this figure. If you've enjoyed this review, make sure you give it a like and let us know in the comments which EXO-6 figure you would most like to add to your collection. Thanks for watching, and until next time.